Welcome to the Peak Work Performance Summit, where we talk about scientifically proven ideas that make us smarter, healthier, and more productive. My name is Ron Friedman, and my guest today is best-selling author Susan Cain. Susan is the co-founder of Quiet Revolution and the author of the award-winning New York Times bestseller Quiet, The Power of Introverts in a World That Can't Stop Talking. Susan's book was the subject of a Time magazine cover story, and her writing has appeared in the New York Times, The Atlantic, The Wall Street Journal, and many other publications. Susan recently launched the Quiet Leadership Institute, whose mission is to help companies harness the talents of the introverted half of their workforce and to improve communication between introverts and extroverts. Its clients include Procter & Gamble, GE, NASA, and others. If you're new to Susan's work, I recommend checking out her highly charismatic TED Talk. It's been viewed almost 12 million times and was named by Bill Gates as one of his all-time favorite TED presentations. In the interview you're about to watch, you'll learn how your personality affects your energy over the course of the workday. You'll also hear Susan's tips for recovering from draining work activities and discover why the last thing you should do when you're feeling nervous is try to relax. Let's listen in. Susan, you have written so much about personality and the way it impacts the way we live and the way we work. And one specific dimension of personality that you focus a lot of attention on is introversion. So I'm curious if you could tell us, what does it mean to be an introvert?
Yeah, so I think a lot of people have heard the idea of introversion and extroversion being about how do you get your energy and how do you recharge your batteries, with the idea that introverts recharge their batteries by being more on their own and extroverts recharge them by being with other people. And all of that is true and really useful. And it's also a metaphor. And it really is just a metaphor for what is happening neurobiologically, which is that introverts and extroverts have different nervous systems. So introverts have nervous systems that make us more reactive to stimulation. And what that means is that we're at our most alive and most switched on and happy when we're in quieter, less stimulating settings. And extroverts, if you're listening to this, you have nervous systems that take more. Your nervous systems, like, they crave stimulation. It takes more for you to be in your optimal zone of stimulation. So if you don't have enough going on, your body is telling you, stir things up, get some action over here. And if you don't get it, you start to feel kind of bored and listless and sluggish. So that's kind of the difference at the end of the day. And it plays out in all kinds of ways. It's not just about social life. It's also about how do we react to stimulation like lights and noise and crowds and really everything.
And so you argue that most workplaces are not specifically well designed for introverts. Why not?
No, and it's a funny thing because introverts make up a third to a half of the population. So we're talking about 1 out of every 2 or 3 workers. We're not talking about a tiny population that companies can afford to ignore. And yet most companies are designed to have everybody kind of working together. It used to be the open door policy. Now it's the open office. And we know, like, the psychologist Russell Gein did a study where he gave introverts and extroverts math problems to solve with varying levels of background noise. And he found that the extroverts did fine when the background noise was loud, but the introverts did much better when the background noise was softer. And that is a profound bit of research for companies who care about the way people work and communicate and innovate and thrive, because it's telling us there's no such thing as a one-size-fits-all environment.